Today on Starto,
Work from home woes.
find the pain
Ideation.
and trend mapping.
All that and more.
This is Sandy Grayson,
And I'm Chris Franks. Welcome to Starto.
powered by Icosa.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Starto, the show for the worldwide entrepreneur. My name is Chris Franks.
And I'm Sandy Grayson.
And we're excited to be with you here today from the lobby of Galvanize.
Gather.
Gather Cafe. It's an exciting day. Sandy, how in the heck are you?
Great.
What's new?
We got a fan mail this week.
Really? I think this will probably be our first ever fan mail. So why don't we go ahead and take a read? Let's read our fan mail. Is it from our biggest fan?
It is from our biggest fan.
Awesome! I'm so excited. Let's hear what it has to say.
Okay, it says, I just watched your last production on Facebook. Of course, as your mother, I love seeing you and Chris. However, for a little feedback, I think you both need to rethink your wardrobe.
Right.
Gray jackets blend into the background. Maybe you need a little more color. And then she says, TV anchors dress up with bright colors for attention on purpose. Love, Mom.
Love. So, congratulations for us getting our very first piece of viewer mail.
You like this?
And have you
It's a
made
little
any
brighter.
adjustments to your wardrobe
This is
based
for
on
you.
feedback from your mom?
Say hi to Judy.
Hi, Judy.
We love you.
Thanks for the feedback.
Thanks for
Judy.
watching.
We appreciate it. I have gone the
You're
opposite
gray.
direction.
You did not follow my instructions. Judy's
I'm
going
start-
to be pissed.
Judy's going to be all pissed off at me. I'm going to start wearing like neon shirts and
Ooh,
shit.
yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome.
I do have my Startup Weekend shirt on underneath, but it's kind of cold today, so
Okay.
it didn't work. So, Sandy, what are we talking about today on this episode of Starto, the show for the worldwide entrepreneur?
Today's theme is ideation.
What the heck is ideation, anyway?
Oh, no, I think you made it up.
I
I
might
made
have
up words. Journolution.
Journolution, sure.
So, ideation.
Ideation is the process that I think entrepreneurs go through to come up with an idea for a company. One of the biggest myths out there is that to be a great entrepreneur, you have to come up with this really crazy, unique idea. And we're going to talk a little bit about through that today with a couple, in my opinion, of the really best entrepreneurs that I know. But before we dive into that, how can people get in touch with us?
You can find us on iTunes now. Subscribe to us, our podcast. Our video podcast you can watch on icosa.co/Starto. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at Starto TV.
Right on. So give us a little follow. Give us a little love. If you like what we're doing, maybe like us on Facebook.
If you have any
Maybe
suggestions
post-
for
yeah,
hair, wardrobe.
Maybe a little wardrobe suggestion. I mean, just whatever.
I think I need a wardrobe sponsor.
Final thing before we dive into this week's news, tell us what shoes you're wearing today.
Oh, these are one of my favorite shoes. They are rag and bone. Look at those things. Can you see the treads on the bottom of them?
I'm so frightened right now.
Are you?
This thing's, it looks like you're about to kick the shit out of me.
That's their weapons.
Yeah, right
But
in my noggin.
I love them.
No.
They're fun.
They're like the fashion equivalent of combat boots.
Exactly.
Yeah, right on. It's
Fashion and fun and kick your ass.
and kick your ass all at the same time. That's what Sandy Grayson is all about, people. Fashion, fun, and kick your ass all at the same time. So,
That's my new tagline.
well,
right there.
I like it. It's good. So tell us what's new in the news.
The news this week. Well, does innovation only happen in the office? Did you hear about this? There was kind of a big stir up. The CEO of Yahoo, Marissa Mayer, announced her
Hot.
decision to ban virtual work arrangements. What do you think about that?
I think anything Marissa Miller does is just awesome.
Just because you think she's hot.
She's an
Okay.
attractive lady. As I was talking to somebody earlier today, though, that we geeks kind of set the bar low. Like attractive women that hang out with geeks, we think are awesome. So,
Okay. So
I
you'll
actually
do-
think
you'll
that
do
this
whatever
is
she says.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I think this is an epic fail, and I think it's going to totally blow up in their faces.
Well, let me just read you this, okay?
Okay.
Right now, this is from a Forbes article that I can give you the link to on our website. Approximately 13.4 million people work at home at least one day a week. That is a shitload of people, right?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Can I say shitload?
I think so. I think that we should both cuss.
No, but this is from the company-wide memo that was supposed to be top secret. But
Right.
here is a direct quote from the memo. To become the absolute best place to work, Communicate and collaborate will be important, so we need to be working side by side. That is why it is critical that we are all present in our offices. Some of the best decisions and insights come from hallway and cafeteria discussions, meeting new people, and impromptu team meetings. Speed and quality are often sacrificed when we work from home. We need to be one Yahoo, and that starts with being physically together. Do you agree? Disagree?
I do disagree, and I think it's going to be an epic failure. And it's not, I don't disagree with the premise here. I'm a firm believer that getting your team together and looking them in the eye and having conversations, and having the tough conversations, is so much better and so much more powerful when it's in person. However, any time that you give people a freedom, a right to go and have more flexibility in their life and then take that away, that is a horrible experience for the employees.
Yeah.
And in a place like Silicon Valley, where it's very competitive to hang on to really good employees,
Yeah.
I think this might backfire on it.
Yep.
I think it might backfire. I don't think that the concept is bad, but to suddenly say, sorry, you can't work from home anymore, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough.
Well, most of the experts that were quoted in this article agree with you. One said, when virtual work arrangements don't work well, you can usually blame a combination of mismatched or unrealistic expectations about being accessible, or just plain poor communication. Or number two, a failure to use the right tools, such as video conferencing, instant messaging, to supplement the emails and calls. And
why can't they all just use Google Hangout?
We do that. We do that.
Wait, they're Yahoo.
Oh, that's right.
That was a cheap joke. Sorry. It was
See,
easy.
I didn't even get it.
Yeah.
I was like, exactly.
Sure,
What's the
Google
problem?
Hangout.
Skype? You
Yeah.
could Skype, I
Skype,
guess,
yeah, they
right?
could use Skype.
That's the thing. So this expert in the Forbes article said, if Yahoo is committed to hiring and retaining the best people they can find, this policy is probably going to have to get revised and relaxed at some point in the future. I would have to agree. It does feel like going backwards.
I think so. I think that they are moving backwards a little bit. Well, let's dive into today's subject about ideation. And again, it's one of the things that I think is the biggest myth out there in startup world, that ideas are the core or the heart of every single great company out there. As a matter of fact, I think it's exactly opposite. I think that most people think their idea is great, and it's not.
Really?
And it's, as a matter of fact,
you get pitched a lot, don't you, at coffee?
Without a doubt. I mean, and I think any entrepreneur that's kind of been around the block a few times, you have lots of cups of coffee. And here's my minute of tough love. I think we need like a jingle for my minute of tough love. Tim, can we work on our minute of, minute of tough love. Entrepreneurs of the world. New, young entrepreneurs, I say, not necessarily young by age, but young in things. Your idea is not worth shit. And I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry to be the guy that's tough loves on you guys.
I'll be nice, no.
But your idea is not worth shit. If somebody else has not had your same idea, it's probably a not very good idea. And it's probably not worth pursuing.
Are you saying all the good ideas are taken?
No, the difference between, I use this example all the time. About a year and a half ago, I got pitched on probably 10 different location-based dating applications. I mean, it was just, for whatever reason, it was the idea du jour. Everybody that I knew was coming up with like, well, I can do location-based dating. If I'm in a club and you have mutual friends on Facebook, it'll introduce us and all this stuff. That in itself is a fantastic idea. There's probably $1 billion company waiting to happen. There was probably 30 people, I'm maybe exaggerating, at least 10 companies that pitched me on that idea. And I told them all the same thing. It's a fantastic idea. It's great. However, it's not worth shit. Unless you can execute on it, unless you can get to some sort of scale, unless you can get a lot of users on board, unless you can get people using it in some sort of big capacity, it's not worth a thing. So,
it's that quote I love from the guy that started Atari. It says, anybody who's ever taken a shower has had a great idea, but it's the person that gets out of the shower, dries off, and goes and takes action.
God, I wish I would have come up with that quote. That's really good.
That wasn't a direct quote, but it's good,
it's
right?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Can I claim it for myself?
Totally, yeah.
Nobody will ever tell. But that being said, there are some practical steps that you can do as an entrepreneur to come up with an idea that's going to be sustainable. And the first one we're going to talk about is a friend of mine. His name is Mike Stemple. I call him the Dalai Lama of startups. He's just an incredible guy. He's got a lot of wisdom. And we did this segment, it's been probably a year ago now, on a concept called trend mapping, but it's the single best video that I've ever seen that talks about trying to project your company into the future. Let's take a look.
Okay.
So one of the things I do is a process I call trend mapping. It's being able to filter through all the data that's out there and find true trends, focus in on those trends, and project out into the future where they actually collapse into an opportunity. We have trends, we have the past, we have the future, we have data. We're all on the same playing field at this. Imagine a trend, and in the future, it shoots off in a certain direction. And you might have another trend that you're tracking, shooting off into the future. You have another trend. This is actually the way most startups focus on building companies. They try to find convergence of trends in present day, build technology on that, but they don't understand that as time progresses, that trend becomes old news. And that's why you see a lot of Me Too type companies. So let me show you how I do it. I follow the trends as they're coming out. And I look for trends that are actually converging well out into the future. Basically, I'm guessing on where a trend is going to be based upon the data I have. And I focus in on this spot. It could be months, it could be years in the future, but that's where I focus on because I know I have very little competition that's thinking of that far into the future. Most companies play in this space, which I call the incremental change. And this is where a lot of VCs invest, believe it or not. They're focusing on these small little features on top of a larger platform that can get gobbled up in a very small period of time. So what happens is when I focus on an opportunity here, I lasso that opportunity. I take multiple trends, lasso them, and then I can control the actual trend itself because I am the dominant SME in the space, subject matter expert. So then I can actually help guide my company and control the trend and move it in the direction I want. My job every day is how do I build a bridge from here back to the present? How do I figure out exactly what needs to be built technology-wise, team-wise, to be able to cross this chasm over incremental change, to leapfrog all my potential competitors and be at the right place at the right time with the right technology and the right team to maximize this opportunity, grab it, and control it and own it. So my job as CEO every day is to be a SME. I become the subject matter expert of this space right here. And what that means is in America, I'm probably the most knowledgeable person on Bluetooth LE, smartphone apps, and accessories. And what happens is when this trend starts to develop and the mainstream media grabs hold of it and they flip through the Rolodex of who they can talk to, who's the expert, my name pops at the top of the list. You have to be able to articulate this future opportunity in written, pictures, and pitch. You got to be able to talk about it, draw it, and write about it very, very cohesively. I mean, it has to be a really well put together thought. You got to have the facts, the trends to prove. You got to have the data that builds the trends to prove it. And then you got to write it, draw it, and be able to talk about it. If you can't do those three, then you need to find co-founders that can help you with those three. This is hard to do. It's painful to do. This chasm is very, very scary. It's very, very high. If you're scared of heights or scared at all, this is difficult to do. You might want to practice doing this, but I actually think this is not the way to go. I think in America right now, I do a speech called The Death of Innovation. It's because we are all being taught by the technorati, bloggers, VCs, educators, to build incremental change companies, and we're not really focusing on solving really complex, hard problems anymore, and really trying to create innovative new products. Get the data, pick your trends, figure out where they're going to come, try to convince people that it's going to be there, figure out the bridge of the technology and the team to get there. That's how you build a company.
That is awesome. Awesome. SME. That's my new favorite word.
I'm
SME.
I start calling you Shmee.
Subject matter expert.
As you can see, I mean, I think that what he's trying to get out here is stop trying to build a company for today and look at what's going to happen in the future. try to project those trends. And he mentions it's an incredibly difficult thing to do, to try to look in the future and see where those trends are going to converge. However, stop making these little incremental change companies. Try to do something great. Try to do something big that's going to really impact the world in a future point in time as opposed to today.
It seems like it's one of those situations where, people who follow trends or try to predict trends, it's like kind of knowing what you don't know. But I'm guessing like if you're firmly entrenched in a very specific industry or you're very passionate about something, then you're going to be that person that's reading those articles and you can kind of see something coming down the pike, right? Like, what was that thing that everybody was talking about, but people at our office were talking about it earlier, the fracking. Remember, it was like I never even heard the word, and then people around our office were talking about it.
What the frack are you talking about? I'm sorry, it was a bad
And then
joke.
it was like everywhere. It was like there was a movie about it. So it's like kind of knowing what's coming down the pike in your industry.
And that comes from the hard work of educating yourself in reading everything you get your hands on. And one of the mistakes a lot of entrepreneurs make is they assume everything that they know and everything they read, all their competitors know. And the truth is that most people don't read. They don't go out and try to understand what's happening in the marketplace. They don't really dive into the numbers of their market. They don't understand the directions. And that in itself is going to be a competitive edge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so what do you got for us?
Well, I was tasked with finding something that would inspire our viewers and our listeners out there to help come up with some more great ideas. And so my tip of the day is find the pain.
Find the pain. It sounds like an 80s like
bring
gym.
on the pain.
And it seems like a slogan you might have on a t-shirt. Find the pain.
Find the pain. Anyway, it's from a Forbes article called How to Find $1 Million Business Idea in Minutes.
I like it.
So I broke it down into 3 steps for everybody. Actually, there's 4 steps. So the number 1 step is pick a market. Number 2, find the pain. Now here's how you find the pain. You ask these questions, which, by the way, these are the 2 most valuable questions you can ask to extract profitable ideas. Everybody got a pen, paper?
All right. I think
Number 1.
I think we're going to have some knowledge dropped on us.
Here we go. What is the most important activity you do in your business? And number 2, do you have any pain associated with this activity? So you go out, start with family members, friends, whatever. You find an industry and you ask them these 2 questions. And they say it's not about the industry, okay? It's about building your idea extraction muscles. So so that's step 2 is you're asking these questions. And step 3 is you just listen. You listen to what this business owner is telling you about what's the most important thing they do in their business and where is the pain. And then step 4, this is the most important part, is you're going to repeat back what they said for each answer and then follow it up with, did I understand you correctly? And this is the part of the process that they say is very magical, because usually when you repeat back what you just heard, they will say yes and they said that's where the magic happens. They come up with all this more great material that's going to help you create a business that's going to fix this problem. So that's all there is to it. Chris,
I think
how to get $1 million business idea in 4 easy steps.
it would have been cooler if it was 3 steps. I'm just saying. The 4th step.
The 4th
really
one is the
lost
magic. No, that's the magic.
That's the magic step. Okay, I get that. I'm trying to remember who said this, and it's been attributed to a few entrepreneurs, but
You should just say you said it,
I'll
because
say,
nobody
yeah,
else.
this is it. I'm just claiming quotes. I think it was Dave McClure, 99 Startups, or 500 Startups, 99 Designs, 500 Startups, same
99
shit.
red balloons.
Yeah. Dave McClure, 500 Startups, said people are much more likely to buy aspirin than they are vitamins.
Because it fixes the pain versus
Fixes the pain.
prevents the
So
pain.
if you're looking at a market, if you're looking at an opportunity, always try to find the pain points as opposed to something that would just sort of be good or sort of be cool. If it solves a pain point, and if you go to somebody, and remember last week when my minute of tough love is use lean, as you're out there talking to potential customers and you see their eyes light up and go, oh my God, that would be so awesome if we had that.
Yep.
Now you're onto a pain point. One of the things about this, and I love the article, by the way, it's a really good find, is measure the strength of the pain as well. There are some things that people might call a pain that are just slightly annoying. That's not going to be a billion-dollar company. Something that's truly going to make their lives better, make it so much easier for them to live, work, play, that's a big company in the making.
So I'm going to make up a quote. Did you just say, the bigger the pain in the ass, the more money you're going to make?
Dude, I love it. Can I actually now attribute that quote to me?
Of course.
By Chris
We'll put
Fritz,
it, yeah. It'll be like Jack Handy.
Startup
Deep
bold
thoughts.
guy. I want to talk about one other thing, and I got a really cool opportunity. One of the great things about being here at Galvanize is that you get to surround yourself by such an incredible amount of entrepreneurs. And one of a guy I've known for a long time and has an incredible backstory. His name's Dan Doherty, and he is the founder of a company called RipBits. And he has some really interesting ideas about starting a company and tells a great story about starting RipBits as well. So let's take a look.
My name is Dan Doherty. I'm the CEO and founder of RentBits.com. We provide rental solutions to the multifamily and single-family home rental industry. The idea of RentBits came from personal frustration. So I think frustration is the catalyst for innovation. I bought 9 rental properties in 9 months. They were all vacant. I decided to tell my property management company that I would market the properties. I knew that I needed to be on Craigslist and Apartments.com and ForRent and Rentals.com. And part of this frustration led to the aha moment of why not build a system that allows me to post my property one time and have technology syndicate that information out for me with one simple click. I think you definitely, either is it your personal frustration or is it your customer's frustration? Most likely your idea is not going to be unique. It's what you do with that idea that makes it different. When I started at Google, I was the 300th employee, and there were over 20 search engines at the time when Larry and Sergey said, let's build a search engine that is better than anything else out there, looking at the web of URLs linking back to various pages. And that was the difference between an Alta Vista at the time and what Google is today. So it was their own personal frustration of trying to find information that was relevant to their search in as few clicks as possible. Same thing for Gmail. I remember being at Google, and because of the amount of storage space that it took to host emails, every single year the cost of that would get lower and lower. We had the Gmail idea in 2002, yet didn't launch it until I believe 2005 because the cost of storing that information was so much lower than it was just 3 years ago. Find something that you're passionate about. There's a lot of problems that we can solve just walking down the street, but you have to be passionate about something that you can dedicate 22 plus hours a day of your life trying to solve that problem that's different than anything else that's currently out there. How do you do it better? How do you do it faster? How do you make it simpler? But you have to have passion, because if you don't have passion for that specific problem, it's going to fall off your to-do list real quick. If you can't dedicate at least 22 hours a day thinking about it, eating it, drinking it, talking about it, then nothing will really occur from it.
That Dan's pretty cute. He's good on camera.
Well, I'll tell him he said so.
He's been media trained, I think.
I think he's probably been media trained as well. But he brings up some really interesting points about this concept of ideas. But sadly, Sandy Grayson,
Yes, I know.
sadly, we have
It's
come
time.
to the end of yet another episode of Starto. What should we say before we part ways with our audience for another week?
Come see us at Galvanize.
All
We
right.
are here every Thursday around 2-ish, 2:30. We usually
2:30.
start to shoot.
We say
but we
2,
hang
but,
out after and
you
have
know,
cocktails.
That's right.
So you can come see us. It's a very cool space.
Get to see this.
Get to see all
The
of this.
magic that happens here.
All of this.
This is my moneymaker.
And this.
Right? There's
Yes.
a reason. There's a reason why they made the decision to put us onto the audio.
The
podcast,
audio.
not the high definition video podcast.
We'll have to do a survey to see if people prefer the audio version or the video version of our show.
It's like
we want to hear
dorky
from you.
face or dorky voice. I think they probably prefer dorky voice than dorky face, from my end at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
You look fantastic.
Oh,
as
thank you,
always.
darling. Thanks.
And how can people get back in touch with us one last time?
Well, definitely subscribe to us on iTunes, the audio version of Starto, and you can check out the video on icosa.co/Starto. We are also on Facebook and Twitter at Starto TV.
Well, that is all the time we have for this week's show. Join us again next week for another episode of Starto, the show for the worldwide entrepreneur.
Go do great things.